Yes, yes, yes. Where's our music? Where's our music? Let's start off with this. Normally gets on my nerves after a few seconds, but I think we're going to be okay. It's okay to start off with. Okay. So, yes, yes, yes. It's Raphael Dawkins with the Combat Radio. And damn, the notification came through right away. That's a thing of beauty. Okay. Let me get my scroller on. Let me change my scroller. What should I call it? Yeah, okay. Boom. 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 Okay, so we're nice. What else do we need to do? Have I introduced myself? How rude of me. How rude of me. You are in tune to Boxing Talk with Rafi. Well, is it a Boxing Talk with Rafi show? Is it officially a Boxing Talk with Rafi show? Maybe I can go and edit it. What number would that be? What number would that be? Let me just do a little quick check here. Well, that was the last one. That was 157. Have I done a Boxing Talk with Rafi since? No. So what would that be? 158. I may do that. I might change it up, switch up the title just a little bit, or just add to it. Okay, so why has this meeting been convened? Well, where are we? Boom, boom, boom. Actions speak louder than words. Or better still, a picture can paint 1,000 words. And right about now, we're going to allow the area to populate with a topical piece. What am I going to do? Yes, I know. We're going to hit the warm-in video. How are we going to do it? Where's the warm-in? Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so let's tidy up the area. Let's bring that down just a little bit. And let's go over and look for the warm-in video. Where is it? There it is. There it is. As a matter of fact, how rude of me. How rude of me. I have not yet completed the warm-in video. Well, no, not the warm. I haven't done the sound check. First things first. Let's do the sound check. Let's bring up. Okay, there we are. We are live. So boom. I've not. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so the sound's coming through nice and clearly, all being well, hopefully. And let's switch that back now. Let's get into the warm-in video, which I think is rather topical and rather appropriate. So let's get into that now. And can I kill two birds with one stone? Or am I going to do this officially or properly? Oh, I think I'm going to kill two birds with the one stone. You're going to get the butler. You're going to get to see my butler, which will start this thing off officially. And also, you're going to see the warm-in video. Okay, so let's line this thing up. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. How does it look now? Yes, yes, yes. Quite nice. Okay, so without much further ado, let's get this thing done. Let's get this thing on. And hopefully that will allow the area to populate. Let me just take down this banner. And then we're off. Where is it? There it is. And the music's coming to a gentle close just at the right time. So let's get it on. Let's line this thing up properly. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Mr. Raphael Dawkins with Combat Radio. And today we're looking at the new ring ratings. And it makes for very interesting viewing. And we see at the top they have Tyson Fury, followed by Anthony Joshua, followed by Deontay. Whoops. Where's Deontay? Where's Deontay Wilder? He's not the top. He's not the number one, the number two. Oh, dang. Deontay Wilder drops down below Dillian White. Now, isn't that ironic? Wilder, who said Dillian White wasn't good enough. He wasn't good enough to be in the ring with him. Did he say that? Okay, so now he drops below Dillian White. I wonder if now he feels that Dillian White is a worthy opponent since he's higher ranked than him. Or a turn up for the books. Okay, let's just continue. We'll circle back to that later. In 4, we have Luis Ortiz. Now, why the hell is Luis Ortiz in 4th? Who's he beat? Who's his best win? Who's that? Brian Jennings? Years back? Who he beat? I don't know what the hell he's doing in there. Okay. And in 5, we have Andreas the Punch Ruiz. I'll take a look at him with more in the 2nd. And then in 6th place is Alexander Povetkin, who, of course, as we know, is fighting Anthony Joshua later on this year. Okay, so let's take a look at a few of the people in the top 5. Who do we have here? It's the Destroyer. It's the new, more streamlined Andreas the Punch Ruiz, who currently under Eddie Reynoso's tutelage, his new trainer. Apparently he's knuckling down. I would imagine that Reynoso would have read him the riot act and said, listen, if you're coming over here to work with us, we build champions over here. So, you got to knuckle down. You can't be half-stepping. First time I see you half-stepping, you're out. We don't deal with losers, okay? There's nothing wrong in losing, but you got to put the application in. I've never heard Eddie Reynoso speak, so I don't know what his accent is, so I just came up with something. Hope you appreciate it. Okay, so that's the new trimmer, Andreas the Punch Ruiz. Where do we see him with his next win? Who's he going to fight? Chris Arreola is obviously going to beat Arreola, and that should move him up from 5th place. That should leapfrog him over Ortiz, Luis Ortiz. So we should expect him to go up to 4th place at least. And what happens when Wilder fights Fury the next time, the 3rd time for the trilogy, and loses again, which I'm confident he will lose. Sorry, folks. That's the way I feel. Where does he go then? So he'll have to drop from 3. He'll have to drop down from Ruiz, who will be in 4. He'll have to drop down to the highest he can drop down is to 5. Ruiz will be in 4. Ortiz. Where the hell's Ortiz? Ortiz, I presume they're going to have to drop him below Povetkin. Or will Povetkin still be there? I don't know. But, and then Ruiz, Dillian White. Dillian White's fighting Povetkin. I think earlier on I said Anthony Joshua's fighting Povetkin. Of course, Anthony Joshua already fought Povetkin. First man, the only man to have knocked him out. So yeah, it's White who's fighting Povetkin. If he wins that, I'll keep him up there in the top 3, presumably. And Wilder will drop further down. Dame. And Andy Ruiz will be up in the top 4. I believe Mauricio Suleiman once Andy Ruiz wouldn't mind to see the Mexican-American holding the WBC belt, so don't be surprised. Don't be surprised who the next, if after Tyson Fury beats Wilder the next time, do not be surprised if the WBC kind of nudge Andy Ruiz in that direction, the direction towards the belt. But of course, Dillian Whyte is the mandatory, so I don't know how they're going to pull that one off. We can only wait and see. But the news is Dillian Whyte moves ahead of Deontay, the Bronze Bomber Wilder. It's going to be interesting to see his take on Dillian Whyte going forward. Of course, he appeared to be in no rush. He appeared to have very little desire to prove his mettle against Dillian Whyte. And so Dillian Whyte, if he gets past Povetkin, should be facing Tyson Fury next. Is that how it's going to play out? We can only wait and see. But the news is Dillian Whyte moves ahead of Deontay Wilder. And if you look at the flags, you will see that England, the UK, are number 1, number 2, and number 3 in the Ring Magazine rankings. When was the last time that happened? History in the making as we speak. England, number 1, number 2, and number 3. And even if you dispute the positionings, I know a lot of people say, well, Anthony Joshua deserves to be in the top spot. He's consistently fought at a higher level than Fury. But matter not. England, the UK, number 1, number 2, number 3, regardless of which order you have them in. That is something quite amazing. And what say you? It's the Rafael Dawkins, it's the Combat Radio, it's the like, it's the subscribe, it's the comments, it's the shares, it's the hitting the bell icon to stay updated with news and notifications. And don't forget about the live show, Mondays, Wednesdays, and some Fridays. It's Rafael Dawkins, and I'm out. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, let me stop that. Whoops. Okay, so where are we? Oh, let's get the mic positioning right. Okay, that's better. Let's get the music up. Let's get the music pumping. Let's get the volume up. Okay, much, much better. Okay, so let's stop sharing that. Boom. Boom. Okay, and let's get into it. Got a couple of people populating the area now. First things first. Not here for a long time, here for a good time. So let's get the link in the chat. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so a notification has gone out. So let's get the topic up. We already know the topic, but let's get it up for people who are just populating the area. Of course, it is in the title. It is in the title of this podcast, this live show, this piece. Let me just go over and make sure that everything is corpus. We already know the topic, but let's get it up for boom. Another sound check. However unintentional, still valuable. Okay, so where's the graphics? Let's pull up some graphics. Boom. There it is. Let's move that along. And so I may share it with you. Boom, boom, boom. Full screen. Yeah, we got the full screen. Let's scroll up a little bit. Well, okay. In first place, as you can see, is Tyson Fury. Of course, the Ring Magazine belt holder. And let us scroll down. Okay, so after that, Anthony Joshua. As you see there, Dillian White. Dang, Dillian White leapfrogs none other than the Bronze Bomber Wilder and leaves UK in number 1, position 2, and position 3. For the USA, Cuba. Or is Andy Ruiz? Says Mexico, but he was born in America. I don't know. You tell me. Okay, Mexico and Russia, or is that the Ukraine? So, damn, this is historic stuff. When was the last time that the UK was considered 1, 2, and 3? It's remarkable historic stuff going on right now. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to hear from our American cousins about this new turn up for the books. It's going to be very, very interesting. I'm fascinated. The link is in the chat. I'm fascinated to hear from people both home and abroad about this situation. I'm very fascinated to hear what people have to say on this development. And as a matter of fact, rat-tat-tat-tat, I'm just going to share out that link to somewhere I forgot to share. And I know some of my American cousins are over there, and they'll be very, very interested to chop up this development. So let me just paste the link over there, and let me paste the title. Damn. Let's get this done, and then we can begin to chop it up. Okay, let's copy and paste this link. Let's post it over there. Boom. That's one. Let's keep going. Let's post in a bunch of places. I won't post it there. We'll post it there. Where are we? Oh, damn. Okay, let's get it in there. Boom. Boom. One, two, three, four. Uh-oh, what's that? Yeah, let's post it there too. Boom. And kaboom. Okay. It's in multiple spots. Let's get rid of this. Let's drop this down and cancel that. Okay, so it's everywhere now. It's posted everywhere now. Wizard Sleeves comes in with a comment. First comment of the day. Good evening, good afternoon rather. One and all, you are in tune to Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. And we're talking about the new Ring Magazine rankings, which have the UK at number 1, 2, and 3. And yes, so let's get into it. Where do I begin? Chopping this up? Okay, so Deontay Wilder has fallen further from grace, dropping out to the top 2 or even 3. It's kind of 4th now, isn't he? It's 4th. is the fourth best. So the question which came to my mind was, well, remember the times when Deontay Wilder was implying that Dillian White wasn't good enough? Dillian White wasn't good enough for him. Dillian White was a mere pebble in the road. A mere pebble in the road. All he had to do was step over. Not even a stumbling block, just a stumbling pebble. Which all he had to do is just, he wouldn't even have to think about it and just step over him like it was nothing. Well, my, how the tables have turned. How the tables have turned now that Dillian White is on top of Deontay Wilder in the rankings. It's going to be very, very interesting to hear people's take on the situation. Okay, so Wizard Sleeves up in the building. The USA says the USA fight game is at death's door. Who cares? Eastern Europe, the next dominant force. Nothing surer. It's a shame. It's a shame Wizard Sleeves wasn't up in the building for the last live show. What was the last live show? Which one was that? Oh, yeah. Okay, it was this one. It was poorly fired, Wiley banned, Teofimo declines Loma fight. Well, yeah, we actually chopped that up, discussed it. We talked about the Paulie Malignaggi being fired from Showtime. We talked about his comments, and I actually pulled up the graphics. Have I still got them here? Which show that far from Paulie's assertion that the Eastern Europeans were now the dominant force. The facts don't bear that out. Still far more African Americans, fighters of African descent, higher up in the rankings than their Eastern European counterparts. And moreover, more than that, Latinos, both Latin Americans and straight up Latin fighters are also riding high up there in the rankings. And I could actually say the Japanese, the Orientals, the Asians are also coming up in the game. So, yeah, I kind of disagree with Paulie Malignaggi's protestations, statements. Yeah, I would disagree with that. Sure, the Eastern Europeans are coming up now in the game. They've been watching the Americans for years, if not decades. And they finally got their shiznicks together and they're rising. And very good. It adds diversity into the game. But dominant? No, I don't see it. Emerging? Yeah. Like a lot of our other territories are emerging. So that's my position on that. Where are we? Where does that leave us? Do I have that graphic? Oh, dang. Yes, I do. Still up there. So let's switch up the graphics. Let's take that down for a start. What is that? Take that down too. Oh, what am I sharing? I'm sharing too many different things. What's going on? Okay, that's better. What do I want to share? Boom, boom, boom. Let's line this up a little bit nicer. What is this? This is the World Boxing Champions in 2020. We'll just scroll through this before we segue into the next field. Okay, don't really need much words from me. You can see for yourselves. Eastern Europeans doing good in the light heavyweight. You could say they're kind of dominating that to a certain extent. Yes. But no other divisions. Still scrolling down, you can see the pictures of all the champions and the super champions and regular champions when it comes to the WBA, the interim champions. You got everybody else there, the WBC, IBO, WBO, IBF, WBA, are all there. And as you can see, the champions come from far and wide. But still, plenty African American champions. Lots of Asian champions coming down. The lower the weight division, the lighter the weight, the more Asians you see participating and doing very, very well. Okay, over there now, minimum weight. Asians, Latinos and Asians primarily. Okay, so boom, boom, boom. We've done that. So let's get back into the chat. Where are we? Okay, so let's stop that graphic. Bring that down. Okay, so where are we now? Okay, so let's get this thing back up. There we are. Boom. Okay, so that leads me into my second question. So we know that the UK are dominating the heavyweights. The second strand of that is who do you think should be 1, 2, and 3? Who have you got in number 1? Who do you have in number 2 position? And who do you have in number 3 position? What's your picks? Well, for me, the big question is, should Tyson Fury, let me scroll this on down a little bit. What is that? That's that. For Tyson Fury, there's an argument. What was I saying before? Who was I talking to before? Yeah, there's an argument that Tyson Fury was automatically going to be the number 1 because he's the Ring Magazine number 1. He's the Ring Magazine. What is he? The Ring Magazine belt holder. And that is true. He is the Ring Magazine belt holder. That is true. But we're going to ask the question. It's a rather provocative question. We're going to look at it again in the light of this situation. We're going to look at it again. Okay. And the question is that for the Ring Magazine belt, where's the belt? Where is the belt? I'm got a picture of the belt. Okay, for the Ring Magazine, for somebody to win the Ring Magazine belt, it needs to be number 1 fighting number 2. And so that means that when Tyson Fury was re-awarded the Ring Magazine belt after beating Deontay Wilder in their second fight, when Tyson Fury was awarded that, then that means that in the eyes of the Ring Magazine, that means that it was number 1. The number 1 fighter fighting the number 2. So to break that down even clearer, that means effectively that when Tyson Fury fought Deontay Wilder, Ring Magazine saw that fight as a fight between number 1 heavyweight and number 2. And that's rather interesting. It's rather interesting. So in light of this new situation, to break it down further, we're going to look at that scenario. We're going to take a look at that scenario. And for that, let's go over to the rankings. Let's go over to the rankings. Where are we? Here we are. Okay. Let's bring that over. And let me type in where I need to type in, and then I will share my screen with you so you can see, you can have a graphic representation of what's going down. Where are we? Okay, so let me share this with you. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, are we sharing? Yeah, we're sharing Mercedes. We don't want to be sharing Mercedes. Let's get there we are. Let's drop this down. Boom. And let me see how that looks on the screen. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so that's up there. Now so clearly we're looking at Tyson Fury. We're looking at Tyson Fury here for people who are listening but not watching the screen, listening to it in podcast form. So we're looking at Tyson Fury's box rec here, and let's get into it. So we want to go back to here. This is the point at which Tyson Fury fought. Oh no, hold on. No, it's here. That was the first time. That was in 2018. Okay, so let's go here. This is the point at which Tyson Fury fought Deontay Wilder for the second time. And remember, after this fight, Tyson Fury was awarded the Ring Magazine belt. So, like we said before, to be awarded the Ring Magazine belt, it's got to be the top-ranked fighter, the number one ranked fighter in the division versus the second best. That's the second best fighter in the division. Okay, so let me have a look here. Okay, so MGM, right? So this is the second time they fought now, and this was the first. Now we will recall when Tyson Fury fought Deontay Wilder for the first time. He was pretty much coming off a layoff, had 2 warm-up fights, and then boom, Fury approached Wilder with a suggestion. Let's get it on. Let's do this. Let's do this, you big dosser. And they got it on. So Fury was coming off the back of fighting Cephas Fury and Francesco Pianetta, 2 no ranking guys. Hadn't fought a couple of years, hadn't fought like for 3 years since beating Vladimir Klitschko. And then fight Cephas Fury, then Francesco Pianetta before stepping in with Deontay Wilder. So at that stage, could Tyson Fury, or could the winner of this fight have been awarded the Ring Magazine belt? No. Because to get to this fight, Tyson Fury had to leapfrog Dillian Whyte. Tyson Fury wasn't ranked in the top 10. Was Tyson Fury ranked in the top 10 of the WBC? I don't think so. Or maybe they just slipped him in. Maybe they just slipped him in up to maybe number 7 just prior to the fight. Yeah, that's probably how they did it. So I slipped him in. He leapfrogged Dillian Whyte. And he got the fight with Deontay Wilder, which Deontay Wilder accepted gladly because Deontay Wilder thought that Tyson Fury was a shot fighter. So he jumped on it. He jumped on it like a drunk on a kebab. Okay? That I'm talking about Deontay Wilder. Okay, so now that's there. You see that on your screen? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so now I have that fight, and where are we? Yes, the Deontay Wilder fight. And then that was a draw. We all know that. Boom, there it is. And then Tyson Fury went on to fight Tom Schwartz from Germany. Okay, so he got TKO there. And then he went on to fight Otto Wallin. Fighter that most people, 99% of people, boxing fans, had never heard of. And in a fight that many people say should have been stopped. When Tyson Fury sustained a vicious cut. Actually, it was cuts, multiple cuts, at least 2 cuts. One over the eye, over the brow, on the brow, and one under the eye. And any other fight, non-title fight, you would have imagined that fight would have been stopped. But it was not. And and Tyson Fury went on to win that fight versus the hitherto unknown Otto Wallin outside of his hometown in Sweden. So he got the unanimous decision over Otto Wallin. Many people expected that to be a walkover for Tyson Fury, but it was not. So I put it to you, at the end, this is the question, at the end of that fight versus Otto Wallin, was Tyson Fury the number 2 heavyweight in the world? Had he fought anybody in the top 10? Had he fought a consensus top 10 since coming back? Cephas Fury, consensus top 10? No. Francesco Pianetta, consensus top 10? No. Deontay Wilder, yeah, he's in the top 10. He's the WBC champ for 5 years, so he's definitely in the top 10. Tom Schwartz, consensus top 10? Absolutely not. Otto Wallin, absolutely not. So when Tyson Fury went up against Deontay Wilder for the second time, he had only fought one top 10 fighter in 5 years. So Tyson Fury fighting one top 10 fighter in 5 years. Did that merit him being ranked number 2 in the world? Because he drew with Deontay Wilder? No, says James Jameson. Yes, up in the building. What we got here? Let's get that graphic up. Tyson Fury beat a bum twice. Wilder has never beaten a top 10 fighter. Biggest bum in boxing history. As for Luis Dinosaur Ortiz, what the flying Ring Magazine is worthless, says James Jameson. And in comes the man like John D. Lee. John D. Lee, how do you do on this fine afternoon?
Very good, thanks, Ralph.
Marveloso. I got another game of tennis in yesterday.
Oh, getting that reached to good use.
Yeah.
It's a big advantage in tennis, Ralph.
Well,
you know, to be utilized.
Well, do you know the thing I found out about tennis? I kind of knew it subconsciously. And that's why I wanted to get back into it. But it became very, very abundantly clear that tennis, I'll tell people something that they may not know about tennis. Tennis is excellent for footwork.
And hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, it's excellent for many things.
You're using both at the same time, footwork especially.
Yeah, it's good for many things. I mean, there's a list of things, but me specifically, I'm thinking about the footwork. It's incredible. It is absolutely incredible because during the COVID era, people have been walking less. I've been on my bike plenty, but actual footwork, actually using the feet as in foot on the ground, I haven't been doing much of that. It's been on the cycle. But I tell you what, and I suspected as much, getting back into tennis where fast footwork, agility, moving your feet at a fast pace, can be yards if you're running across the court, or it can be feet if you're just having to adjust, the constant adjustments to get in the right position to hit the ball, it's I knew it would bring that. I knew that would bring that into question and bring that to the fore. But blimey, it's been a bit of a revelation how much footwork is involved, and it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. And I'll say this: I'll go forward. I'll go further. I remember back in the day when they had Frank Bruno tap dancing, literally sending him to tap dancing classes for his footwork. I tell you what, I'd replace that with tennis. I'd replace that with tennis because not only are you doing the footwork, but like you just mentioned, you got the hand-to-eye coordination as well. And so I've come to the conclusion that for fighters, tennis is an excellent form of alternative training. When you're not doing boxing that day, look at a guy like Errol Spence, who's just come out recently and said, yeah, first of all, he'd take a couple of days off training after a fight, then it turned to a couple of weeks, then it turned into a month, and then it turned into when I get back to the gym whenever the next fight's announced. So for guys like that who are a bit slow to get back in the gym, I say an excellent thing to do to maintain some kind of fitness. I think the excellent sport for that is tennis. Get into tennis, guys. Get into tennis. Get your footwork still moving and get your hand-to-eye coordination going. Excellent pastime and very physically demanding. John D. Lee.
Yeah, tennis is good, but dance is good as well. Particularly, you got to remember, depending on the type of dancing you're doing, you learn to coordinate your entire body. And move, and be supple. Because a lot of people think weights are bad for boxing because they make you stiff. But the way to get around that is to be supple. You can lift weights and be supple. They're not mutually exclusive. You just have to stretch. If you don't stretch, you won't be supple. So, but if you're of the mindset that you don't want to be training in between fights, I don't think boxing is for you in this day and age. Seriously though, if you look at the greats of recent times, and they're not necessarily my favourite fighters, but Floyd was always in the gym. He fought infrequently towards the end of his career, but he was always in the gym. When have you ever seen Floyd looking fat?
Never.
It doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen.
Andre Ward, 2-3 year layoff, or however long it was. Maybe I'm exaggerating.
Yeah, it was a couple of years.
Always in the gym. Always ticking over. You don't have to be sparring.
Yeah.
Shadowboxing, skipping, hitting the bag.
Yeah.
Just ticking over. That's all fine.
But you see, I understand optimally. Optimally, you'll be always in the gym. Optimally. But, however, I do also understand that some people want to change of scenery. And,
well, yeah. But, I mean, you can do, like, whether it's a game of tennis or if you actually see what some dancers get up to, it's hard physical training. So, if you get bored, mixing other things into your training is a good idea. I mean, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, you see, I do understand the mentality of people who get bored with the same environment, the same thing. Maybe training gets mundane. I do empathize. I do have sympathy with those guys who just want more variety, more variation, keep the mind from getting stale. And for that, I do recommend there are optimally, of course, you'll always be in the gym, or you'll always be doing gym work, or you'll always be doing something boxing related. But bearing in mind that different minds require different types of stimulation, I do regard that as a real thing. And I remember one of the boxing clubs that I used to go to in the summertime. I mean, there was a lot of kids, a lot of children, 7, 8, 9, or those kind of kids around that age group. And I think the trainer, what he did was very clever. in the summertime, whenever it was sunny. It was a 2-hour session in the gym. And what he'd do is he'd split the session in two. And there was a park nearby. And so what he'd do is he'd have us jog down to the park, have a game of football, then jog back to the gym, and then do for the final hour. Remainder will be boxing training. And I think that was excellent because it allowed all the kids, people, participants, it was freshness, bring some freshness into training. Very, very smart. I think the smartest trainers recognize and understand the need for variety in training. So if you're outdoors, for example, doing outdoor session, shadow boxing, skipping, etc., do a little bit of calisthenics out of doors, not always boxing training. Keep the mind fresh, do other things. But as James Jameson says, skipping keeps you on your toes. Absolutely, you can do that outdoors.
Did he ever introduce a lot of stretching into his training? Because I think that's something that gets missed in boxing quite a bit.
Stretching, that was more instructed. Every now and then he'd shout at everybody saying, "Hey, why are you doing your stretching or this or that or the other?" But it wasn't really coordinated. Like, okay, now we're going to do this stretch, that stretch, or the other stretch. That was left to the boxers. I think that may have been a bit of an oversight.
I think it's a bit of just of an old school mentality, really.
Old school mentality. Get in there. You know what you're supposed to do when you come in. You're supposed to stretch and this, that, and the other. But just leaving it up to people, I don't know if that's the best thing. I think it should have been more formal. But yes, I think overall what I'm saying is, yeah, bit of variety. Get out there. Whether you want to do some dancing outdoors.
I've got to pull James Jameson up about that comment.
Okay, carry on.
James, go and watch the Battle of Britain because Bruno was outboxing Lennox until Lennox hurt him. The idea that Bruno couldn't move and he was cumbersome, it's not really accurate. I think Bruno.
He did seem somewhat cumbersome. He was somewhat cumbersome.
I don't really agree. If you go and watch his early fights, I think Bruno could move. I don't think that was necessarily his issue, to be frank. I think it was ring IQ.
Yeah.
And what to do when he got buzzed.
Yeah, definitely. That was definitely an issue. How to respond.
Have you ever watched the Battle of Britain, Raf?
No.
It's not something you wanted to ever see.
No.
I think you should really go and watch it.
It was two of my favorites.
Yeah, but now they're both retired, Raf.
I can watch it now.
Now they're retired. Go and watch it because, as far as I'm concerned, Frank's giving Lennox a lesson in how to jab. And that's not an easy thing to do to Lennox.
Yeah. Well, Lennox admitted it. I've seen an interview where Lennox admitted it.
But if you actually go and watch it, Frank's fluid. He's got no problem moving in that fight. And if you watch other ones of his fights, he is a fluid, mobile boxer. A lot of the time it looks like because he's always so ripped.
Yeah.
Yeah,
people make assumptions.
Yes, and actually, he's got shortcomings. Frank's got shortcomings, but
of course,
fluidity and skill aren't really his shortcomings or speed. Frank ain't slow. You find me someone's actually outspeeding him. He's outspeeding Lennox in that fight.
He looks slow. He kind of looks a bit slowish.
He might look slow.
Yeah,
but if you actually look and watch the fight and what's happening, he's landing the jab on Lennox at will and piecing him up.
Yeah, if you're landing, then you're doing something right. Because
and it's not a Joe Joyce comparison because I think the George Foreman comparisons is a much better comparison to Joe Joyce minus the power.
Yeah.
But if you actually look at how they're moving, it's very similar.
Yes.
Very similar.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you, but
okay.
I understand what you're saying about the variety, but while we're talking about Frank, me personally, I empathise more with Frank. If I'm not training, I'm going mad.
If you're not training, you're doing what?
Like, not literally going mad, but I can't cope with the idea of not training. I train 6 days a week, and I force myself to have a day off because I have to have one.
Yeah, but you're doing other things is still training.
No, but I go to the gym 6 days a week.
Yeah.
And I have a routine that I do 6 days a week, and then I do things on top of that.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in adding in the off season or in between fights. I'm a big believer in the time where a fighter would like to just rest and refresh from boxing. Have them do something else. So they keep the fitness levels up, and yet you rest in the brain. But you can still put that cap on with the ball on it, with the tennis ball on it. You can still do. I
just think that if you're constantly shadow boxing, your skills are going to improve constantly.
Yeah. I agree with that. You can still do certain boxing things outside of the gym.
Sparring should be limited.
On a sunny day,
you'll
be doing that stuff, and you can. So basically, in the time, take an Errol Spence, and I'm sure he's not the only one. Take an Errol Spence, although he says he's changed up now. Take somebody like him and many other fighters who would want some time off, and have them do something else. So they're still ticking over. Just keep the shadow boxing outdoors in the sun. You live in sunny climates. It's summertime. Get out there in the sun. Do some shadow boxing. Do some calisthenics. Change things up. You can still get your skipping. Do some skipping. But then you're mixing that up with something totally different. And then finish off with some kind of outdoor game that requires footwork. Put some hand-to-eye coordination in that. And then boom, you've got a guy who wouldn't want to, at a point where he wouldn't want to be in the gym, still doing physical work.
I mean, for those guys, I think that works really well. What I'm saying is I'd struggle to empathize with them because it's not me. If you see what I mean.
I totally understand, but how many people are like you?
No, I think I'm in the minority.
Yeah, you're the minority.
No, I think that's completely right.
Yeah, and so you have to acknowledge the majority.
No, I'm just saying I struggle to empathize with them.
Yeah,
you're empathizing with them. I'm not saying I'm right.
Oh, totally. I'm the same. I like to change it up. I like to do one thing 1 week and then 1 month. Then I'll go through another phase where I'll be doing another thing and then another thing, and that variety keeps me fresh. Some people need variety to keep them fresh. Other people don't. I know people who are just on those rail tracks and they'll do the same thing week in, week out and be happy. They're happy with that. Whereas other people, other people would find that mind destroying, mind numbing, mind bending. You know.
Yeah.
I fall into that category.
I'm in the other category.
Yeah. Which you're in the minority. You're in the minority category. Who are on those rail tracks. Probably eat the same thing every day at the same time. I know people like that.
But I have variety in my diet.
Okay.
But what I will do is I'll make a big part of food and I'll probably eat the same thing for 4 or 5 days on the track. That's fine. And that's just not a problem.
Exactly. So there's that.
No. I totally understand.
Whereas, other people would go absolutely stark bonking. Right?
Most people can't do that. And I wouldn't really expect them to either.
Yeah. They go
but then I have a ridiculously strict diet anyway. So
yeah. Well, I know cats like that. So I do know that type exists. There's no doubt about it. That type does exist. But I think for the bulk of the people, it's not like that. They want variety. They want to mix it up. They appreciate that going for that game of football, soccer to other people, football over here in the UK. They appreciate doing things which they don't normally do. And for me, I think that's a plus. It's a plus. Let's not forget that one of the reasons I believe Tyson Fury, getting back to the thing, one of the reasons Tyson Fury left Peter Fury, one of the reasons, I know there's much speculations, but one of the primary reasons for me was something that Tyson Fury said himself. which was that, you know, you're doing the same thing, you do it over and over again. It's like, and you could see the man was getting mind destroyed by the monotonous repetition. And I actually saw a clip of Peter Fury in his gym training his son, and it was all about mindless repetition. Not to say Peter Fury is mindless or his training techniques are mindless. That's mindless. That's not what I'm saying. But I did see a lot of mindless sergeant major, mindless repetition. And
the thing is, you have to do the repetition,
yeah,
to make it smooth.
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean to say it can't be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing, which I think great trainers have, is they understand the type of mentality that the particular person is.
Yes.
Because if you're going to train, so if I was going to train somebody else, I wouldn't really expect them to do what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't expect them to do that. I certainly wouldn't expect them to do it if they'd never trained before.
Mm-hmm.
And I totally agree with what you're saying, because I think you're often thinking about not necessarily training yourself, but training other people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then you have to make an assessment as to the sort of person they are.
Yes.
Are they going to get bored quickly?
Yes.
What motivations do they have? Are they confident? Are they, a lot of people aren't confident about certain things. So some people, if they're too confident, you need to show them where they're at. And people who don't have enough confidence sometimes need boosting up to be better, for you to tell them that they're actually better than you really think they are, just to get them to a level.
Mm-hmm. So
those are the things that a great trainer would do.
Yeah.
Irrespective of what sport it is, really.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yes. 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 Yes, that's funny. Wizard Sleeve has just dropped in backstage, but he's not here in the chat. Could it be that Lucian Cramp? Could it be that Lucian Cramp has made another random appearance on Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio? Lucian Cramp says, "Yo, Rafi, I've come here to debate you. Debate one of your recent videos. Give the fans what they want, man." What recent video would that be, Lucian Cramp? Lucian Cramp. Tell me what video it is, and we can ponder upon that. Right with the name of the video in the chat, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so getting back to the heart of the thing. Have I still got that graphic up there? Okay, let's leave it up there for the time being. Okay, so yes, the question that I put. Oh, so first of all, I have to put it to you, John Dealey, before I get to the heart of the matter. Let's drop this thing down. Stop sharing that so we can see the graphic. As a matter of fact, rat-tat-tat-tat. Let's pull up the graphic. There it is. So, let me just drop this down so we can see. Okay, so the Ring Magazine heavyweight rankings. Number 1, Tyson Fury. Number 2, Anthony Joshua. Number 3 is the contentious point, Dillian White. Over the former WBC champion, the Bronze Bomber, Deontay, Alabama's finest. Deontay.
No. That's Evander.
Okay.
Evander Book was born in Bama. He just moved to Atlanta.
So Alabama's not finest.
In
Deontay
fact,
Wilder
I need to double check this, but I'm pretty certain Joe Louis from Alabama as well.
Yeah, I think he is. I read that he's Alabama.
Yeah. So what it is with Bama is none of them learned to box apart from Deontay.
Well, some of them say that Deontay didn't learn to box there either, but we won't say that.
Well, you could say that's what the problem is.
We won't say that. That might be considered rather harsh. The Rafi likes to be kind, so let's not say that. But Deontay Wilder down to 4th place, meaning that it is UK in 1, 2, and 3. It's revolutionary. The question is, when was the last time in boxing history that the UK had the top
I'm confident
fighters.
That since fighters have been putting gloves on, this is the first time.
It's the first time.
Yeah.
First time.
Because even when we've had a British champion, it's usually been American contenders. I mean, it depends on how you look at how you class Bob Fitzsimmons, but some people count him as British, some people count him as a New Zealander. Either way, he was the other people were American.
Yes, the other contender strap.
Yeah, and then who's the next one in between him and Lennox?
Who was in between?
I'm not sure there are any, to be honest.
Well, you had Lennox was a champion. Bruno was a champion.
Yeah, but there were 1 and 2 and 3.
No. I think the closest would have come to anything like that would have been when on Lennox's rise coming up to Bruno. But it wouldn't have been 1, 2, or 1 and 2, and it wouldn't have been 1 or 3. But that would
Bruno would have been coming in at 3rd at best.
Yeah.
And Lennox would have been either 2nd or 1st, depending on when it was.
But it's still either way. Still, it was never 1, 2, 3.
And especially not in the Ring Magazine ranking.
Certainly not in the Ring Magazine ranking.
I'm confident in the history of the Ring Magazine, there's never been more than 2 British heavyweights in the top 3. And I'd be surprised if there's ever been 2, to be really honest.
Yes. Okay, so who we got in the building? We got the James Jameson, we got the AD, and we got the Lucian Cramp, as well as the Wizard Sleeves. Oh dear, we just lost Wizard Lucian. We just lost the Lucian. Okay, so yeah, historic times, ladies and gentlemen, in the UK for UK boxing with 1, 2, and 3.
So Dillian needs to make sure he beats Povetkin and takes it seriously.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he's not going to take it seriously.
Well, it looks like from what I can see, I followed Dillian on a few different social media. He looks like he's taking it seriously. I'm not saying he isn't. I mean, I think Povetkin's a difficult person to talk about.
Yeah.
So I can understand why he's not been talking about him. But it's not a joke fight. I mean, it's one that I can see him losing as well as winning.
Of course. It's a tough fight. But when, Dillian White has shown a desire for those tough fights and a desire and a belief. So that's very, very interesting. In comes the Prudent Man, as well as Rex McDonald. Never seen Rex McDonald. He's saying Lucian is genuinely part of the LDBC. Let him on, man. Well, the problem is that I was over at an LDBC thing, and I saw Lucian say, "What up, man?" What did he say to Miss Sheldon? Miss Sheldon. He called himself Mr. Sheldon, but I call him Miss Sheldon because of certain traits. Miss Sheldon, if you're in here, I know you're an avid watcher, but not a commenter. Feel free to jump on in. And Miss Sheldon said to Lucian, he said, "Who the hell are you?" So Lucian Cramps is unknown over there in the LDBC quarters. So no, he's a troll over here, but he's a very entertaining troll. Okay, so the next question is, and the pertinent question that I ask is Tyson Fury. Let's drop that graphic down. Let's get that down. What does it say? Stop sharing. That's what I wanted to do. Oh, I'm not sharing. I need to just drop this down over here. Okay, so the question that comes to mind is, let me get the right graphic up. Let's drop that down. Oh, damn. Rex McDonald, who I've never heard of, jumps in backstage. I think it's Lucian Cramp, Dixon Vinegars, all rolled into one. So let me get the box rec up. Let's share that. That's what I'm looking for. Boom, boom, boom. Where are we? Okay, so we're looking at Tyson Fury on the box rec. And the question which I pose, let me just check to make sure you're seeing what I'm seeing. Okay, it's there. And the question which I posed today, I think we touched on it before, but I'm posing it today because it's particularly relevant in light of the news that the UK, England, is 1, 2, and 3, according to the Ring magazine. And so I pose the question, the ancillary question, was the second fight with Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, was that number one fighting number two? Because as you will know, John Daly, and some people out there listening may not know, to be awarded the Ring magazine strap title, it has to be in a bout which represented the number one fighter in that weight category, fighting the number two. And so it's an interesting question. Was the second fight, Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury 2, was that the number one heavyweight boxer fighting the number two? That's the question.
Well, it depends really on timing for me with that.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, I think it all gets a bit hazy because you can't get away from the fact that AJ lost to Ruiz on June the 1st last year.
Mm-hmm.
And rankings get updated so often. And what I can't remember is when the fight was signed for the rematch.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they signed and announced that rematch before the rematch between AJ and Ruiz took place, then it's legitimate if you can say, well, that it's on the line. We're going to put the belt on the line. Because that point of signing, it's 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I think it's legitimate that AJ would not be 1 or 2, and those two individuals probably would be 1 and 2 in a ranking system before AJ had the rematch with Andy Ruiz.
Mm-hmm. Well, we know that there was protracted negotiations because Andreas the Punch Ruiz.
No, but it's not that fight that needs to be. So the rematch between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, was that signed before AJ got in the ring with Andy Ruiz?
Well, we're looking at the dates now. So the dates.
No, not the of it taking place.
No. We're looking at the dates and we're backtracking. We're going to go 3 months.
What I would say is, if Ring announced that the ring is going to be on the line for the fight when it's announced, they can't change their mind just because something else has happened. Because they've committed to putting their belt on the line. It's at stake on this fight when it's been signed.
Mm-hmm. So the date of the rematch with
the date of it being signed and announced, and that's important because
so
that's when the ring's going to actually put it on the line. Yeah.
So the date of the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury rematch, the date of the actual match itself, was the 22nd of February. So 3 months before that is when the fights normally get announced. Could be less, could be more,
could be less,
could be more. But 3 months in general. So that would take us to what? November, December, January, February.
It takes to November, wouldn't it?
Take us to November. Yeah, November.
Around the 22nd of November. If they had a 12-week camp, it's the 22nd of November.
Yeah, 22nd of November-ish. And I think that Lucien Cramps has come back under a different name. But there's a way I can tell that it's not the person that he's trying to pretend to be, but he hasn't figured it out. So it's easy for me to tell. Okay, so November, end of November, 22nd of November. And Joshua fought on the 7th of December. That was the date of the rematch. I remember that. So the fight was announced presumably towards the end of November. That's the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury rematch, end of November. The Joshua rematch with Ruiz was in the first week, at the end of the first week of December. So this fight presumably would have been announced prior to the Ruiz-Joshua rematch.
It wouldn't surprise me if they announced in the fight week of that, because they like doing that.
Actually, yeah, that rings a bell.
But it's still before AJ got in the ring with it.
It's still before AJ got in the ring. But it was prior. Yes, it was prior to that. And so your argument is, well, if it was prior to that, it was prior to the AJ Ruiz rematch, then that could be as a good argument that it was a number 1 versus number 2. That's a good argument. That is a good argument. And I certainly recall it being prior. So, yeah, that's a very good argument. That's a very strong argument. I was going to go into the chat for some responses to that, but I think Lucian Cramp equals Rex McDonald has got people fired up. So they're talking about that instead of this, but it's all part of the.
I'm actually looking at the chat. Is he doing it? Is he doing his job? Don't feed the troll, and then he'll starve to death.
OMG, Lucian Cramp has got Dixon Siders, Rex McDonald, whatever he's calling people, who got people all fired up. They got them all fired up. But yeah, that is what's going on here. 6'7" Ducker. Wizard Sleeve says, spot on. The only thing that's changed is a 6'7" Ducker has been replaced by a 6'9" Ducker. OMG. And
I'm not convinced about that 6'9" either. I think he's 6'8".
Well, yeah, but that is the issue. That is a very good issue, because the counter argument to John Dealey's argument is that how could a man who's only fought one top 10 guy in 5 years be considered to be the number 2 guy? And that's my argument. That's the argument I'm going with. You've only fought one top 10 guy in 2 years. How can you be considered to be number 2? And I say, no, can't do it. Can't buy into that.
I mean, if you're going to undermine Tyson Fury's status in the top 10, it's fairly easy to do, particularly before he beats Deontay Wilder, because he fights Francis Pianetta, the Silver Surfer, Otto Welling, and Tom Schwarzkircher.
Yeah.
Kirscher means cherry in German. That's German for black cherry. Schwarz is black.
Damn, black cherry. Damn.
Yeah. So those fights and a draw with a top 10 fighter are difficult to put you into the top 10. And ultimately what you're doing with that is you're really basing it on him beating Vladimir Klitschko
5 years prior, or 4 years prior at that time.
At the time that this fight was announced, yeah. But what do you do about that? I mean, I don't really know how you solve that conundrum, because there's 2 ways you can do it. You can say, well, you're stripped of your rankings because you failed the drugs test, which, there's a legitimate argument for doing that.
Yeah.
Or you do what has been done and you get sucked into all the lineal title stuff. And you say this man's never been beaten in the ring. And he defeated the man who was perceived as the man by certain circles in Vlad. And that's the way it went, rightly or wrongly. Also, I am a bit suspicious that Bob may have helped that along.
Uncle Bob. Yeah, so you got the two schools of thoughts right there. Two schools of thought. On the one hand, if it was announced that if the Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury rematch was announced before AJ defeated Andy Ruiz in the second fight, if the Wilder Fury fight was announced prior to that, then one school of thought says, well, it was announced prior. It was announced that it was between 1 and 2 ranked, and the belt would be the Ring Magazine belt would be on the line. If it was announced prior to AJ defeating Ruiz, then yeah, fine, legit. That's one school of thought. Another school of thought is that with Tyson Fury with Tyson Fury not having beat anyone in the top 10 in over 4 years, with something like 5 fights back, how the hell could he be number 2? And that's
well, the reality is Tyson Fury today has 2 wins over top 10.
Yeah, in 5
opponents
in 5 years
in his career.
Oh, geez.
I'm not sure Derek was top 10 when he beat him.
I don't think he was. I don't think Chisora was.
No, I don't think he was. He's a respectable name on there, but it's not a top 10 heavyweight in my. I'll have to go back and check.
Yeah,
I'm more than happy to do that, but I would be shocked.
I think we've.
He'd already got beat by Vitaly, hadn't he? At that point.
Yeah. Yes, he had. Yes.
So in his whole career, he's got 2 wins over 2 top 10 heavyweights. However, you have to offset that against they were both long reigning champions. Because you can't get away from that either.
Yes, no, that has to be in the equation. I put that in the equation, and I still don't see how Tyson Fury could have been number 2 ranked going into the second Deontay Wilder fight, having not beaten.
Well, how do you factor the draw against Deontay Wilder?
The draw against Deontay Wilder, well, that means that means that by that point he'd had 1 win over a top 10 fighter and 1 draw over a top 10 fighter. That still don't make you number 2 in my book.
It doesn't make you number 2 in my book. I mean, to be honest, I don't have a problem with Tyson Fury being at number 1 at the moment because I believe he's going to fight the person who has the other titles.
Yeah.
So unless he loses to Wilder, and then he's definitely not number 1. I think he will fight the person with the other titles. I'm not sure if he's going to defend his mandatory, which could be an issue. But then Joshua will defend his mandatory if he beats Fury, so it could all even itself out.
Yeah.
However, because I think him and Joshua will fight if they stay unbeaten, I don't really care who's 1 and 2 at the moment because I think it will get settled.
Yeah.
But I don't really think Tyson Fury's done enough to be number 1 in my opinion. But I can see the opposite argument in that he's got the best 2 wins out of everybody.
Yeah.
On his resume because he has. And he's also been probably the most inconsistent out of all of them, even including Wilder, really. I mean, it's a bit difficult to stomach, but Wilder's defended his title and fought 2 mandatories. Those are 2 things that Tyson Fury's never done.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, they weren't good mandatories.
No.
And, a lot of them as title defenses are jokes.
Indeed.
However, he's got 10 title defenses and 2 mandatories. Tyson Fury's got 0 title defenses and 0 mandatories.
Yes.
So it is all a bit of a conundrum for me.
It's a bit of a conundrum. It's a bit of a conundrum. It's confusing, but we've put the question out there. Was Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 2 number 1 ranked versus number 2? And I think it's gone 1 hour 20 minutes, and I think we've got to the point. There are two main arguments, two main opposing arguments. I think we've chopped it up. We've gone into it. We've looked into it, and there still remains two opposing arguments. The one argument is that, yeah, he beat Klitschko, and then he beat a long-reigning champion, and then he beat another long-reigning champion. So that supersedes the fact that he's been fighting primarily mediocre opponents. That's the one argument. The other argument is that he beat Vladimir Klitschko. Yes, true. But that was his only win over a top 10 opponent. That was his only win. So does that merit you being ranked number 2? 1 top 10 win, 1 draw over a top 10. Does that merit you being number 2? I mean, if that was the only 2 fights he had, then maybe you could say, well, maybe that would be a stronger argument. But the fact that he's fighting mediocre opponents in and around that time, to me, that just takes it. No, you can't do that. If you'd only fought Vladimir Klitschko, come back and got a draw with Deontay Wilder, with no other peripheral soft touches, cherry picks around the sides, then I'd say that would give him a stronger argument. But he came back, he fought mediocre opponent, got the Deontay Wilder fight undeservedly, in my opinion. The first one.
Well, I think that was a cherry pick gone wrong, really.
Yeah, well, I said that at the time. Yeah. I said it was going to be a cherry. Well, I said it before the fight. I said this could be. I
knew it was a cherry pick. Yeah, because I mean, you're taking this guy who, I mean, I can't remember what he weighed in at against Francis Pianetta, but you've just seen him go 10 rounds with Francis Pianetta.
Yeah.
So when we look at the cards that Deontay Wilder has scored in his fights. He can go in there confident that he's not going to get knocked out by this guy, so he will walk out with his green belt intact.
Yes.
So when you look at it from that point of view,
Big Ant saying, and Ring Magazine must be smoking dope to have white above the bronze bomber.
Well, I don't really see how that works, because when AJ got beat, he got dropped right down the rankings.
Right down.
And we've just seen Wilder completely destroyed.
Annihilated. We've seen him annihilated.
I don't think he won a single second of that fight, and he got hurt bad. So I think it's reasonable to put him in 4th.
But he had metal in his gloves, though. He had metal in his gloves, and his hands were in the wrist.
Well, I haven't seen any factual proof of that. And if they had factual proof of that, I'm confident they'd be taking Tyson Fury to court, stripping him and prosecuting him.
But if his hands were in the wrist, what's the use of metal in the glove?
No, if there was any sort of...
I know what you're saying.
I know what you're doing, Raf.
Yeah.
But just trying to keep it in some sort of sanity, completely going to Alice in Wonderland.
Why are we gonna bring sanity into the equation? No,
because I just want to highlight how ridiculous the whole situation is.
Okay.
So, what's his name now? The Zumba guy. What's his coach called? Jay Diaz.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I got yeah.
Well, I can't remember what his background is.
Was it boxercise, Taibo or something?
That's why I said Zumba.
Yeah.
we'll stick with Zumba for now.
Yeah. Zumba
Anyway,
Zumba
this guy was there inspecting Tyson's hand wraps, the gloves being put on, the gloves before they were put on.
Yeah.
I think a representative, if it wasn't Mauricio, a representative from the WBC were there.
Mm-hmm.
If they had genuine evidence to suggest that Tyson Fury had cheated, he would be stripped of his title and it would be called a no contest. And Tyson Fury would probably suffer some form of ban.
Well,
so there's clearly absolutely nothing in this nonsense. And I'm fully aware of what Photoshop is able to do, but I believe many of the people that have subscribed to this belief are not familiar with what's possible with modern technology in terms of imagery. And I haven't heard a single mention on any type of social media platform, interview, or anything from Deontay Wilder attributing cheating to Tyson Fury. So, you know, this is very much in the vein, but much worse than the nonsense started by Fanon about the DAZN contract not including Anthony Joshua's name in the contract. When Shelley Finkel comes out and asks why he turns down the contract, he says, "We're turning this down because when Wilder knocks out Joshua, we want millions to see, and DAZN doesn't have a big enough subscription base." That's the reason Shelley Finkel gave for turning that contract down, and it was Fanon who started that nonsense on that contract and that excuse for turning down $120 million. So, you know, I just thought I'd try and bring some facts to the nonsense, Ralph.
Yeah, but how are you gonna if your fist is in the wrist? If your fist is in the wrist,
your fist is in the wrist. It's not going to help you punch harder anyway. Which idiot?
Well, what's the metal doing? If the fist is in the wrist,
the whole thing.
What's the metal?
I know that all these idiots are making these statements have never put on a pair of boxing gloves, got in a ring, and sparred. Because if they had, they'd know it doesn't help you. The metal would do.
Well, no, if
that's considered to be highly illegal. No, it's got to be in the right part.
Not in the fist. Not if the fist is in the wrist. If the fist is in the wrist, what's the point of the metal in the glove? That's what I don't get.
Well, no, you're right. You're right, Raf. I mean,
yeah.
But if you're going to put your fist in the wrist at all, you know, that's just their man getting pieced up by someone that can't punch. If you're going to be realistic about it. Like the tactics were right. The implementation of the tactics were correct. However, if you look at the punching technique exhibited by Tyson Fury in this fight, it's not very good.
Not very good at all.
No, because Tyson can't punch. I think if he could punch, he'd have some devastating power.
He would. He would.
But Tyson. Look at that. I mean, he's just not. It's a terrible jab.
That's no power in there. That's scoring.
No, it's a terrible. Yeah, but even the right hand that comes over the top. I mean, it's all right, but it's not. His hips don't come round that much, and there's a lot of room for improvement in that over the hand right.
Does he want to throw a proper punch there? Does he want to throw a proper punch? I don't think he does. I don't think he wants to throw a proper punch. He wants to touch his hand, his glove on your face, and that's a point.
No, I think he was stepping into his job. I think he was trying in this. I mean, in all fairness, prior to this fight, he's never really tried to sit down on his punches. And what you're talking about is what he's normally attempted to do with his punches. So on the back of the fact that he hadn't had that long to learn to improve that part of his game, it was effective. Let's put it like that. It was effective. And Tyson's biggest attribute for me is his ring IQ. It's really good.
Yeah, it's really good.
And if you're trying to do the right thing and you don't do it as well as you could do, you're still probably going to get a good result. So, you know, where I give him credit is his ring IQ over everything else.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. He's got a great ring.
He's got a great ring IQ. His punching technique is not good.
Sloppy.
Yeah.
But effective. His punching.
But it worked against Wilder, who I believe is very fragile.
It's worked every time, hasn't it?
Well, has it?
Oh, it's worked every time. He's got, how many losses has he got? It's worked every time.
Okay, Raf. So what are you saying's worked? His punching technique or his ring IQ?
His punching technique. Well, his ring IQ's worked.
His ring IQ's worked.
Yeah.
And his punching technique has been good enough to.
I'm in two different places at the same time.
What happened there? That was that was an old avatar. that one up for ages.
Got to bring this back. That was funny because we're doing a show. The two of us are doing a show. It's a video of the two of us doing a previous show.
Yeah. I can see what you're saying, because you could have the same. People are going to get really upset when I say this. But I'm going to say it. You can say the same thing about Muhammad Ali. Like, he didn't have the best punching technique.
Yeah, damn, it's happened again.
Yeah, it's still there. but it worked because he had the other skill. He had the other attributes.
Well, listen, his punch technique is what his ring IQ. He punches the way his ring IQ tells him to punch.
I don't know if I totally agree with that.
Well, I don't know if I totally agree with that, but I'm
because your ring IQ
expanding on the point. So,
go on.
So essentially, his punch technique works in harmony with what he wants to do. So effectively, he's lunging. You could say that's a bad punch, but in another way, you could also say, well, that punch is actually, because he's not committing as a normal person would commit to a punch, he's keeping himself out of harm's way. So he knows he's out of harm's way, then he just touches. He knows he's out of harm's way, then he just touches you. If he threw a fully committed punch, he leaves himself vulnerable.
No, there's a way out of that, Raf.
Yeah?
Yeah, so no one throws a right cross like Joe Louis anymore for that specific reason. So Joe Louis would, go all the way over his feet when he threw the cross. And that's how he got the power. But what he would do is, instead of just ending up there, he would duck down and circle back up.
Yeah.
So he would incorporate head movement at the end of the punch and upper body movement at the end of the punch to take himself away from trouble. And so if you look at the way Wilder knocks out Brazil, that's what you're describing. Somebody completely overcommitting to a punch.
Yeah.
That if it hadn't have come off, he would have been exposed.
Yes.
In a very vulnerable fashion. And I think it's something common to Kronk fighters, people from the Kronk school of thought.
Yeah.
I think it happened to one of my favourite fighters, the Hitman, Tommy Hearns. I think it happened to Breland.
Yeah.
When Breland lost, it was always by KO.
Yes, indeed.
And a current disciple of the sort of Detroit school of boxing is, I always forget his surname. The guy that Charlo beat, Tony.
The
middle. Tony Harrison.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's a lovely boxer, but that's his one fault, isn't it? He overcommits his punches when he throws the right hand.
Overcommits.
Yeah. So if you look at people with that Detroit background, that's their fault. And Joe Louis didn't learn to box in Detroit in professional ranks. So he had a tactic to combat that level of commitment.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's quite a few bits of footage of Joe Louis missing his right cross. But then how he escapes out of trouble is to use it like a duck. So he comes around and he can use it to set up hooks as well, because he's coming close. So if you do it correctly, it's fine.
Yeah. So, ultimately, what Tyson Fury is doing, the way Tyson Fury is punching, it's worked every time.
Well, yeah, but if you're gonna say, well, no, it didn't work on one occasion because he got a draw with Deontay.
Yeah, that's true.
And if he'd have gone for it when he had Deontay buzzed, which he did, he backed him up a few times.
He did.
He would have had this result then, and he would have a perfect record.
Huh. Well, that's interesting. If he did what, he'd have got a perfect record.
Well, in my opinion, even if he'd have punched as well as he did in this fight, if he'd have followed Freddie Roach's instructions and put his foot down and planted his feet because he can read an opponent. Tyson is very good at reading his opponent.
Yeah.
So if he'd have just gone for it when he had him hurt, I think he would have taken Deontay Wilder out of there because, in my opinion, I know a lot of people think Deontay Wilder's got a good chin. I think he's fragile as anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Luis Ortiz is a big puncher. He's been buzzed by Molina, who's Molina ever hurt or fought even? And there's more people than that. I mean, So I think he's vulnerable. People put all this focus on AJ being vulnerable. But I've seen Wilder buzzed by the lower level fighters. I've only ever seen AJ buzzed by at least B-level fighters. Mm-hmm. And Andy Ruiz had already fought for a world title and been very, very competitive.
Yeah.
So he's at least a B-level.
Yes, absolutely.
As a minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And Molina is not a B-level fighter.
No.
He's a D to a C level fighter.
AD says Wilder got dropped and sent flying halfway around the ring by a body shot off a pillow fisted set. OMG.
Well, also, I mean, if you look at all of Wilder's opponents, they tend to be people who have tried to box Wilder on the outside. And that means he's never put under any pressure. And it also means that he's put in a position where he can get full leverage on his punches, because Wilder can't generate power on the inside.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Wilder is...
Well, look at Wilder and look at AJ. Look at AJ's uppercut. You can't get no closer than that. But how did I see that clip? I saw that clip today. Some strange reason, I don't know where or how, but I saw that clip today of that uppercut on Big Klitsch's chin, and he literally threw that uppercut under his armpit. That punch came from under AJ's armpit. You can't get much closer quarters than that. Under his armpit. It was crazy. It was ridiculous.
But AJ's got good technique on his inside punches.
Yes. And
I'm not so sure his technique on his long range punches is where it should be. Yeah.
Might not be.
Which for a guy with 82-inch reach, it should be. It should be.
It should be, of course. Yes, absolutely.
But I think AJ is the sort of person who work on it.
Oh, totally.
Because I've seen him display it, but it was against Charles Martin, because they had worked on the counter right hand, hadn't they? Because that's how you beat a southpaw.
Yes.
And he just got all of that perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he beat him by throwing 2 punches at the end of the day.
And going into the chat, I see here White would destroy bomb Wilder. All wrong for Wilder. KO inside 6 rounds. I have to say, I can't mince my words. I agree. And I think that Wilder's crew, pure supposition on my part, but I have to suspect that Wilder's handlers knew that. And that's why they've gone for the lower paying fights against Fury rather than the higher paying fights against Anthony Joshua.
I think the White fight would have been a higher paying Wilder fight than Fury won.
The Fury won, absolutely.
He was offered $8 million.
Yeah, and they didn't want it with.
I think it was £8 million, Raf.
Yeah, they didn't want it. They didn't want it with White. No. They didn't want it with Joshua. They just didn't want it with the British lads.
I don't think they wanted it with any puncher.
Yeah, apart from Tyson Fury, and he's not heavy. He's not a renowned heavy puncher, but he made.
They also didn't want anyone.
Made Deontay Wilder look like he was in there with Rocky Balboa.
They also didn't.
Yeah.
I also don't think they wanted anybody who's going to try and fight him from the inside.
Yes, that too. So they didn't want Joshua. They didn't want White, but they thought that Tyson Fury was a nice, fat, juicy cherry. And
I think they thought even if he came in as good as he did against Klitschko, they'd get the rub of the green.
Yeah. All that flip flopping with the glove. They thought, we walk right through that. You're going to walk right through him, and you're going to put him on his British ass. That's what's going to happen. That's what they thought. But looky here. Didn't work out that way, did it? John Jameson says, exactly, John. LDBC crew are in fantasy land. Damn, some strong words there from James Jameson. He's put the goalie's gloves up on eBay. So if anybody wants a pair of hardly used goalie gloves, then check out James Jameson's email account. I'm not email. What do you call that? eBay account. You probably don't know about James Jameson and the goalie gloves. You'd have to go and check out previous live. What's his name? Dixon Siders came up with a story about James Jameson and the goalie gloves from sportsdirect.com. You know, they keep the goalie gloves right close to the entrance. And so, you know, you can nip in and chuck them over the detector. OMG. Okay, so big ant, but your man won't fight him. Nice inside uppercut. Where are we? AJ could KO 90% of Wilder's opponents on the same night. No joke. DJ Georgie Porgy up in the building. James Jameson says Wilder's defenseless on the back foot. Absolutely defenseless. Shocking. All at sea at 6s and 7s.
And he can't fight in the pocket either. So
who can't fight? Fury? I mean Wilder?
Wilder can't fight in the pocket.
Yeah, he can't fight in the pocket. Don't know what to do.
So because he can't fight in the pocket, he has to resort to going on his back foot, which results in him crossing his leg, crossing his feet, doing all sorts of stuff. I mean, he can't generate any power going backwards.
All sorts of Bambi type behavior. Bambi type.
I mean, look at that. He's just walking backwards.
Yeah.
There's no stance there. Look at what he's doing.
Imagine Deontay Wilder on a tennis court. I would pay pay-per-view money to see the
better yet, Rafi.
Yeah.
You know.
You just call me Gavin?
No.
Oh, so you just
No.
Who the hell's
Gavin? It's not you anyway. better yet, Rafi.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him on a basketball court.
Basketball court. What would he be doing on there? What would he be?
Well, it's footwork, Raf. Any game on an enclosed space incorporates footwork and hand-eye coordination.
Shocking. Absolutely shocking.
Because he's a failed basketball player, isn't he?
Well, he could have one round in 1 round on the tennis court, 1 round on the basketball court, 1 round tango dancing, and then he could have 3 sets of that. 3 sets of that pay-per-view. No fighting involved, just the footwork. You'd have to be rated. You'd have to be adult rated, 18 or whatever the adult rating is now. You car crash TV.
In that little clip just then when he was throwing his jab,
yeah,
because he wasn't landing it, no right hand came. That's all you have to do to stop him. And there's multiple ways you can do it. I've seen Ortiz parrying it. Just saw Fury sort of leaning out of it, really, like that.
I says,
and then he slipped under it then and landed one of his own.
Oh yeah.
Because it's not like it's a fast jab, is it?
Certainly not.
I have seen a jab that's worse in boxing at the moment.
Whose is that?
Unfortunately, it's a British lad called Lawrence Coley.
Okay, yeah, Lawrence.
Lawrence's jab is the worst jab in boxing for me.
It's not very fluid at all. It's not
not anything, Raf.
I can't say Lawrence. I enjoy watching Lawrence Coley. Sorry, hope you improve, Lawrence. No disrespect.
It's a shame because I think he's
improved, but right about now, it's not very pleasing to my eye. Right about now.
No.
But getting back to this chat just for a second. The body shot that dropped Wilder was because of his horrendous feet all over the shop. All over the shop.
I definitely think footwork played a part in it, but I also think his overall fragility had a big element in it as well.
Yeah. Fragility.
Didn't Fury actually take his feet off the floor?
I don't think he did. I never saw his feet come off the floor, but
maybe it's just a bit of.
He sent him sprawling back, yeah, but not in the midst of the punch. He did sprawl back on his feet with his feet off. He did sprawl back. Yeah. I think the sprawl. Yeah. Okay, he did sprawl backwards. Yeah. So that's what you mean then, yes. Team Wilder thought
it's not what you expect to see from a heavyweight when he takes a body shot, is it?
Not at all. It would be the same as Ortiz fight. I'm still not convinced we get the third fight. We definitely get the third fight. Wilder's in it for the money now. As far as I can see, his team are in it for the money now. This was the cash out. They've been waiting all their lives for this cash out. And they've got it. They could have got a bigger cash out against Joshua, arguably, potential. Well, yes, certainly, but they didn't think they'd beat Joshua. They thought that Tyson Fury was this big, fat, juicy cherry that they were just going to pluck. But he exploded. The cherry exploded in their faces and left one hell of a mess. Must have detonated on the cheekbone of Deontay Wilder. Said he's got a permanent dent in his cheekbone. Got a permanent dent in his cheek.
I'll tell you what's interesting in this.
Bashing session. I don't want anyone to think it's a bashing session. It's just merely objectively looking.
Well, we are having a bashing session because we're watching Tyson do the bashing.
Yeah,
it's a session of Tyson bashing. Somebody. Very roundly. What I'm finding interesting is the fact
not Alabama's finest. That's who he's bashing.
What I find interesting is Wilder's complete inability to deal with having a shorter reach than his opponent.
Yeah.
He's got absolutely nothing to do. He's throwing the jab. He can't land the jab. And in the same position where he's not in range to land his jab, Fury can land his. Yeah. And also Fury's got the skill to avoid his jab, which Wilder doesn't even have the skill to avoid Fury's jab. Which, I mean, from a speed point of view, Fury's jab's not slow, but it's not that fast.
It might not be as fast as the speed of light, but he's been doing the job. He gets it in your face. He lands it in your face.
No. But what I'm saying, Raf, is you could formulate a game plan to take Fury's jab away from him. You could do that.
Of course you could.
Fury's good enough to adjust to that and do something else. So I'm not really having a dig at Fury. I'm just saying there's not even an attempt to do anything about Fury's jab. You're just eating them.
Well, listen. I mean, the first fight, you could say. But having said that, the first fight.
I'm watching him do it now, though. While we're watching this second fight,
though. But what I'm saying is that the first fight, Fury didn't make the best display of himself. So the first fight, this is a different fight to the first fight. They didn't game plan for this. Wilder didn't game plan.
They didn't game plan for it, but Fury still landed the jab fairly judiciously in the first fight.
Yeah.
So if there was going to be a punch that you would expect them to have a plan for, that's the one punch I would expect them to have a plan for, in that they think he's going to jab and move.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point. They should have had a plan for the jab. They didn't have a plan for the jab. Their plan. Listen, their plan was to go out there and knock him out. The mentality was, you dropped him twice the first time, you're going to take care of him the second time.
Yes, that's all true. But if you look at Wilder, for Wilder to land that money punch, he has to land his own jab, and he has to have control of the lead hand. If you the second Ortiz fight's the best example of that. Ortiz has got control of the lead hand right up until about 10 seconds before he gets knocked out. And Wilder doesn't really even throw his right hand until that happens. So if you watch the fight back, Ortiz is parrying Wilder's jab the whole time.
Yeah.
And then when he decides to not parry it and he tries to use head movement, what happens is Wilder manages to touch him with the jab and then he throws the right hand and knocks him out.
Yes. Yes.
So his strategy has got to be finding a way around Fury's jab so that he can land his own jab so he can throw the right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they haven't even got that right.
Haven't even got that right. And it's sorry tail. Sorry tail. How could this be number 1 v number 2? Is this
well look, I mean,
versus number 2? Is this
for
number
me
versus number 2?
If we want to get really critical about it all, I
Yeah.
could get really critical about it.
Yeah.
However, I'm not going to.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that I'm not going to is that I think Fury will genuinely fight Joshua. And so that we won't have to be having debates based on resumes or opponents or what's gone on.
Yeah.
And that will also mean that the ring title will be on the line in that fight. So I don't care that Fury's been given it.
Yeah.
And you could say, not necessarily the best grounds for it, because he won't get stripped to the ring title even if he loses WBC. Even if he becomes franchise or something like that, the ring title will actually be on the line. And if you beat the ring champion, you get the title. It doesn't matter what your ranking is.
Yeah.
It's only when they strip you of it and it goes vacant.
Yeah.
That they have to start working out who's 1 and 2.
Did they strip him of it the first time?
Yeah, and the ring do strip people.
Yeah, but he must have been stripped because he won it the second time. So
they'll strip you for inactivity.
Yeah, so I guess he must have been stripped.
And the ring do strip people. I mean, they strip people regularly.
Yeah. I've never heard Ayak. Is that Ayak? Is that LAC? What is that? Ayak 74?
IAC 74.
Or LAC.
Looks like a Tottenham fan anyway.
Oh, yeah. The rooster. The rooster. I've never heard of a dent on a bone. A fracture or a break, yes. Actually, yeah, you can dent a bone. I got a couple of dents in my shins. So you can dent a bone. So I got a dented cheekbone. Beating Bob's squad means 0. 0 De Niro.
But that's kind of where I'm at. But
yeah.
But from a rankings point of view, he was a WBC champion who'd had a long title run. So
title reign.
Yeah. Was he a weak champion and a protected champion? Yes, he was.
Well, carry on.
Just to put it in historical context, Sonny Liston didn't become heavyweight champion until he beat Floyd Patterson. But from 68? From 68 up until he finally fights him, he cleaned out not only all the top contenders, but most of the people who ended up on Muhammad Ali's resume in the 60s. So Patterson was, for me, a weaker champion as Wilder was. But he's got the belt.
Yeah, but he didn't have the belt for that long, did he, Patterson?
Well, he had it for quite a long time, 66 to 62 or something? No, 56 to 62.
He had it for 4 years, really?
He lost it and got it back again off Johansson, didn't he? Because he had that trilogy.
Oh, damn it. Yeah, damn.
So they shut Sonny out for a very long time.
Yeah. He was shut. He was locked out. He didn't because they knew what was going to happen. Just like you could say they could draw comparisons with Wilder and Joshua, but unfortunately.
Well, or anyone that could punch.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Wilder didn't give him a chance to show that. Went the Fury route instead. Most unfortunate. And I don't see Wilder ever fighting Anthony Joshua. Don't see ever happening. No way, no how. Second time around, he loses to Fury again. Where does he go from there? Where does Wilder go from there?
Into acting or possibly a dancing career based on some recent footage.
Acting or different type of dancing. James Jameson says Wilder's weed dance cracks me up. Will Fury get past White? Not so sure. He'll be back on his toes for the White fight. Well, yeah, I'd love to see that fight too. Wilder's little dance at the end of round 3. Where are we? Peterson refused to fight Mafia.
Patterson.
Yeah, Patterson.
That's a smoke screen because Customato had links to Fat Tony Solano.
Mm-hmm.
That was just the excuse to legitimize it. If you actually get into the reality of it all, Customato had his own links to the Mafia, and the name of the guy is Fat Tony Solano.
Fat Tony Solano. Okay, and I think that we've finally chopped. We've done that. We've finally chopped and diced it. There was some questions. Rafi, what about Monday? Where were you on Monday? Well, the Rafi has given you lots of content this week, so it's plenty of food in your belly, plenty of food in your stomach. You've been well fed. And on Monday, I thought, you know what? I'm going to kick back. Just had a game of tennis, came home, ate some food, had a little soak in the bath. And then, by the time you turn around, you look at the time, you say, oh, no. The Rafi likes to prepare this shizzle. As a matter of fact, he likes to over-prepare. So, still got topics on my topic sheet, which we're not going to do in this one. We're going to do it in another one, maybe some videos later on. James Jameson knows who I'm talking about. Where was the Monday show, Rafi? Hey, I could have swore you scheduled to have a boxing talk with Rafi on a Monday around about 9 o'clock. Rafi, come on, what's going on? What's going on? He doesn't speak with that accent though. And where's Ped? Ped, come on, let's do this. You call the Rafi out. Please stop ducking, stop dodging. No more ducking, no more dodging. Let's go. Come on, lad. Come on.
Rafi, I don't know you should be quoting that, man. It's a bad omen.
No more ducking. Oh, for me, no, bad omen for me at all. No more.
You know what I mean? No.
I know you.
You know what? It was only a joke, Rafi.
I know what you mean, but you got to talk to the people. You got to talk to the people. You got to converse. You got to let them know what's going on. You got to let them know what's going on in the minds. So come out of hiding, my friend. Come out of hiding. No more ducking. No more dodging. If anything, is to give him, to boost him up a little bit, because I'm saying it. No more ducking. No more dodging. Let's do it, mate. Let's do it for the people. Let's do it for the people. You called my name. You said this, that, and the other. Now you're going to get your opportunity to air your grievance. What is your grievance, my friend? What is your grievance? You got bad feeling for the Rafi. You know what I'm saying? Bad feeling for the Rafi. Air it. Air the grievance. Come on live. Let us chop it up. Whether it's here or elsewhere, it don't matter to me. If an ex-mod feels upset, saddened, emotionally disturbed, then, I'm giving you your right to reply, mate. I'm giving you your right to reply. Be it here or be it elsewhere. It's all the same to me. Wherever, mate, wherever. But you called my name. Don't really know what you're upset is about, really. So the best way to do it is to go live. And I've done several lives since was it Sunday or Saturday? Last Saturday? Done several lives, many lives, and you haven't showed up, mate. But you did send me some cheeky emails. So why type? Just go live and express yourself. It's very, very simple. Let's do it. Let's do it, bro. Let's do it for the people. So I think we've chopped it up nice and finely and sweetly. For those who missed out on the Monday show, because I didn't do a Monday show, well, now you got this. And remember, we had the Sunday show. So you've had a Sunday show before the Monday, and you've had a Tuesday show following the Monday. So I think you're well fed. You're well fed. Lots of good content coming out from Raphael Dawkins. For those who didn't see, James Jameson says, great show, Rafi. Thanks, John. And chat, thank you all. Yes, yes, yes. Much appreciated. Lots of ways to support the channel. Coming here is the first way. Smashing that like button is the second way. And multiple other, and for sure, sharing is another way. Lots of multiple ways to support the channel. Don't forget to share this on all your social media, all or any of your social media platforms. Don't forget to smash the like button. Don't forget to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend. Did a very good interview. I call it an instant classic with what's his name? Dennis Rappaport. Had some issues with that, sound issues. Dennis wasn't very audible. I mean, sound-wise, very, I couldn't hear him very well. But he has agreed to do a part 2. Don't let the sound issues interfere with your enjoyment of that video, because anybody who hasn't checked it out, you've missed out, because Dennis, throughout that interview, drops lots of jewels. That interview is littered with jewels. Unfortunately, it also suffers from the poor audio from Dennis's end, which will have been a little bit of a problem. You know, you're riding the button, but I've tried to edit. Did I edit out? I think I've tried to edit out my sound, my questions, so to keep the level kind of balanced and even. So I tried to edit out myself because I was at the right volume. Dennis wasn't, so I tried to edit out myself. So you're just hearing Dennis for the most part. So I think anybody who tried to listen to that before and found the ups and downs in the audio intolerable, I think you should go ahead and give it another shot. I haven't checked it recently myself. I'll probably go and check it. I did an edit to deal with the matter, but it didn't take. YouTube being YouTube. I don't know. They got technical issues right now, whatever, short-staffed or whatever, so things aren't going through the way they're supposed to on certain occasions. But yeah, lots of content for you. Don't miss out on the jewels in the Dennis Rappaport interview. Good news on that is that he agreed. Well, actually, he suggested it. Guess he enjoyed the conversation. He suggested a part 2, and I gladly accepted. So yeah, that one's an instant classic, minus the audio issues. And John D. Lee, I think we've chopped it up. We chopped it up nicely. And what is the title? Let me get the title back in there. Boom, boom, boom. There it is. UK.
It's nice to see
1, 2, and 3 in the new Ring Magazine heavyweight rankings. History is made. John D. Lee. Yeah,
I might even try and go and buy one.
By what? By
the issue with the ranking.
Oh, yeah. That would be dope. That would be dope. Yeah.
It is probably not going to happen again. I mean, it's possible it could last a while.
It could last a while because we got up and comers like we got Daniel Dubois, who's not yet to be proven, but if he keeps on the winning track. Hey,
well, that could go either way, because if Joe Joyce wins,
there you go,
in good fashion, it could go that way. There are other people coming through.
There are options. So if one of the UK guy drops out to the top 3, another one could jump in. You never know, or it could be 1, 2, 3, and 4. That would be crazy.
It's a bit early for Dillian's guy yet, but Dillian's guy looked quite nice on Eddie's card.
He looked quite decent.
He's not fighting anybody, so I want to see him get hit on the chin now. But, he's got some good length on him. He's not the biggest, but he's 6'5". So
6'5" is trim.
But that, I don't know that you need all that weight anyway.
No, not at all. UBS TV says, hi, Raf. What do you think of White? Do you reckon he has what it takes to beat Wilder or Fury? I think he mops the floor with Wilder. And I think he's very confident against Fury. So Wilder, I don't see that as a competitive fight, to be honest with you. I know a lot of people do. I really don't see it as a competitive fight. Wilder does have that equalizer. He does have that big right hand. But I think Dillian White, his ring IQ is underrated. And I think that he knocks Wilder out cold. He sparks Wilder, drops him.
I could see him sleeping Wilder. That left hook's devastating punch.
Yeah, you could knock him out cold. It's hard to imagine because we haven't seen Wilder up against the best opposition. It's hard to imagine. But no, I mean, if Wilder...
Well, how many times have we seen Derek asleep?
Only once. And that was
exactly.
That was in the White fight. Yeah, he put Derek Chisora to sleep. Rockabye, baby. He could do the same thing to Deontay Wilder. That's what I see happening. I
could see him doing it to Tyson.
Against Tyson, how do I see that fight? Fury versus White. I think White is confident against Fury. There's got to be a reason why he's confident. So that would be a competitive fight. I see Fury going upstairs, downstairs on. I see White going upstairs, downstairs on Fury. Upstairs, downstairs, feints. Well, not so much feints, but ducks. Ducks, weaving. What do you call it? The right hook, body shot, left hook, body shot, doubling up on the left hook. I see Dillian White weaving, bobbing and weaving a little bit more than usual, maybe. Right overhand, right, left hook, double left hook, vary from the body to the head, from the head to the body. That's what I see. That's how I see. What do you call him? That's how I see White finishing. If he finishes Fury, that's how I see it. Bobbing and weaving, right overhand hook to the dome, to the temple of Fury, bobbing and weaving to get inside. And I see a double left hook, varying it from body to head, and then head to body. If White is to KO Fury, I don't see White beating Fury on points. I think to beat Fury, White has to knock him out, and that's how I see the knockout coming if it does come. So I say if it goes the distance, it's Fury. If it doesn't go the distance, then Fury has just been knocked out.
I think it's possible that Fury could knock out Dillian as well.
It's interesting.
Because for me, Dillian's gas tank suspect.
Yeah.
So if it went late and Fury went for it, he could get him out of there. I can see 3 potential results. Dillian by KO, Fury by points or KO. But that's why it's a good fight. That's why I want to see it.
Yeah. That would be a very competitive. I think that I see that Fury White fight is very competitive. And I think White waited enough. To me, that fight is more important than the unification fight at this point now.
The thing is, if Tyson beats Dillian and Wilder, and Joshua beats Pulev and Usyk, and then they fight each other, there are no questions left.
That's true.
We have a definite number one.
Yeah, that's true. But the boxing community allowed Wilder to sidestep.
Well, I've got a slightly more cynical view than that.
Yeah.
I think certain organisations facilitated that.
Oh yeah, they definitely. Well, certain organisations
with financial.
But the boxing community allowed it to happen. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
that should never have happened. That's shameful.
I think that money's always
White.
I think money's always had that
influence.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think there's a genuine will, definitely for Fury and AJ to fight.
Yeah.
And I just hope that Fury does fight White, although Mauricio seems to be standing pretty firm on it at the moment.
Well, there's a lawsuit. He's gone to court, so I
think that might be why.
I think that's a lot of stimulation for him to be standing firm on it.
I don't think Mauricio's doing it out of the goodness of his heart or any sort of moral compass, Raf.
Absolutely not. I think there's a
But
law, and I think that stimulated El Presidente Mauricio Suleiman to do the right thing.
But as long as that's what happens, I don't care what the stimulus is.
Yeah, that's got
yeah. Because then what we end up with, even if Fury or Joshua lose, and let's say we end up with Usyk White, we've got a definite number one.
Yes.
And that's all I really want. I mean, I know who I'd prefer to be that person.
Of course.
But if we go through that sequence of events and we get the answer, then I'm happy to have the answer.
Absolutement. Big Ant says, I think Wilder knocks White's block off. I want to see that fight because of this channel. So you see the.
But I'll tell you something, Big Ant. I bet you that Dillian would fight Wilder with no belts on the line. I'm quite confident he'd fight him in a car park, anywhere.
Hey, name any local pub car park, and fly Deontay Wilder over. He didn't want to fight White for what would then have been his career high payday of $8 million. He didn't want to fight Wilder before that. He doesn't want to fight White since. Big Ant, do you seriously think if Wilder had your confidence, he wouldn't have shut Dillian White up already? If Wilder had your confidence, Big Ant, he would have fought White already and got knocked out already by White. There's no way that fight happens without one of them guys getting knocked out. The person who's gonna get knocked out, for my money, is your boy there from Alabama.
Right. If Wilder was confident he would knock out White, he would have taken £8 million to do it.
Yeah.
If it was such an easy fight, that would have been Wilder's biggest purse. That would have been double what he was guaranteed for Fury in the second fight, isn't it?
Yeah. In the second fight, how much did he get for the second fight? The guarantee? Yeah, the guarantee was around that ballpark. Well, no, it was around 4, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it's double what he was guaranteed for his biggest purse.
Yeah.
For a so-called easy fight. So why would you not do it if it was easy?
Why would you not do it? Why would you not do it if it were easy? If Fury fights White, Fury would drop Kronk and get back on his toes, presumably with Ben Davidson.
I don't know if you go back to Ben Davidson. I hope he doesn't.
I don't think so.
I think I know more about boxing than Ben Davidson, I'm afraid.
OMG, damn.
Ben Davidson is a terrible trainer. He was good for Fury to get him motivated,
fitness,
and get him back in some sort of fitness.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, Tyson knows a heck of a lot more about boxing than I do.
Yeah.
I'm definitely confident he knows more than Ben Davidson.
Yeah.
And he's better off. If it's not Sugar Hill, there's lots of other good trainers out there.
Lots of good other trainers out there. Yeah, where are we at here? Let me have a look. At this here. Let me have a little looky. What's going on over there? Okay, that looks fine. Everything looks fine and respectable. Let me get to the last comments, and I think we're gonna call it a wrap. Wilder is a fraud, says DJ Georgie Porgy up in the building. Remember, don't forget to smash that like button, folks. If you enjoy the content that's being pumped out from here, Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio, we've been covering lots of topics. Go and check out the lives. Go and check out the videos. It's content galore. The WBC is the worst of the worst. Fury will probably go franchise to Duck White. Yeah, it's a distinct possibility, even though Mauricio Suleiman has said no. We have said it. We are very clear that Tyson Fury must fight Dillian White next. We have made it very clear, so I don't know why these legal proceedings, Dillian White has taken these legal proceedings. So on that basis, I think that WBC have received one hell of a stimulus package. in the form of legal papers. And I think that's going to be the stimulus package they need and require to stop ducking Dillian White. Wilder doesn't challenge himself. He's not bomb squad for nothing. OMG. It's been like a killing season for Deontay Wilder. But it's not my doing. It's not John's doing. It's Deontay Wilder himself. Should have never ducked. He should have never ducked. Should have stood up, fought like a man, walked like a champion, and let the cards fall where they may. But I have to say, Deontay Wilder, in a sense, you have to say he's been brilliantly managed to get as far.
All protected.
Well, yeah, to get as far as he did.
I haven't seen such good protection since Floyd Patterson,
to get as far as he did on such a limited skill set. You have to give his management team credit. They did one hell of a protection job on Deontay, the bronze bomber, Alabama Hammer. Let me call him Hammer. But you know, if you can't line up the nail, then it don't matter how big the hammer is. If you can't land it. And Tyson Fury showed with movement, with pressure. Deontay Wilder was like Bambi on ice. I think the whole world saw that. There's no ambiguity. They've gone and sacked Mark Breland. What kind of gratitude is that? What kind of thanks is that? Highly unfortunate. Torn bicep or no torn bicep. Heavy suit or no heavy suit. It don't matter. You go in there to do the job and get a job done on you. Highly unfortunate. Damn, trying to cut this thing off, but keep on getting comments. We're going to have to cut it off immediately after this. The bronze bomber got bigger fish to fry. I believe if White had any belts with the mentality Wilder had towards unifying, they would have fought. Mentality? What? The mentality towards unifying? Are you teaching me right now?
So to this day, Wilder has never been in a unification fight.
What the hell, Big Ant? What the hell? They're lacing.
They've got some good crack over there, Rafi.
They're lacing the organics over there. They're putting something in the organics. What the hell? Deontay Wilder has never shown any inclination to unify. He ducked Vlad. Clearly ducked Vlad. He ducked. No.
You're not starting off. Oh, I suppose it would have been the first title. Yeah.
He ducked.
Didn't fight Vitali. Ducked Vlad.
Didn't fight Vitali. Ducked Vlad. Ducked White. Ducked Joshua.
No. Let's go all the way.
Yeah.
Ducked Charles Martin. Didn't fight him. Didn't fight Parker. Didn't fight Joshua.
OMG. Well, no, I let him off for Parker because he got outbidded by Joshua.
There was time to make that fight.
He did.
Because Parker was a champion before AJ, wasn't
he? Yeah, he was. But
there's no excuses.
We're trying to make the Parker fight, though. I'll give him that.
No, Raf. I'm sorry. He had plenty of time to do that.
Hold on. Parker flew over to one of his fights, and they were in talks, and he actually made Parker an offer. But Parker said, no. The kind of money they offered, I could have got for a local fight in New Zealand. So
that's not a serious offer, Raf. I think that they engage in propaganda tactics over there.
I think it was a serious offer. I just think that the reason it was so low is because Wilder's cachet was so low. Couldn't generate the money. So I think it was a real offer. It's just that his cachet was so low they couldn't generate shizzle.
Based on all of his other behaviours,
AJ came in and made a proper offer.
Based on all of his other behaviours, Raf.
True. Yeah, carry on.
Based on all his other behaviours and the people who are backing him that do have money. No, because they did have money.
Hold on. No, before you carry on, I just want to address Big Ant. Okay, y'all got it today. I'm going to leave it alone. Well, Big Ant.
He's bravely retreating.
Big Ant knows he was talking some nonsense. Big Ant knows he was talking some nonsense. Well, Big Ant, that's restored. That's restored my faith in humanity that you was only joking. Okay, I can appreciate that.
Okay. So we just got triggered from a troll.
Yeah. We got triggered.
All right then. Okay. Well, that brings us to so we can wrap it up then, Raf.
Yeah, we can wrap it up now. We can wrap it up.
Thanks for having me on.
100%.
And you have a good game of tennis.
Not playing today, mate. Recovery time. But yes, that was John D. Lee. Much appreciation goes out to John D. Lee for hopping in. And much appreciation goes out to everyone in the chat for stopping by to one of your favorite destinations, locations for boxing related material. And you know, we do non-boxing related material too. We do it all over here. Where we at? So yeah. All of that. Imagine ducking Charles Martin. Dame. Yeah, Parker would have been bad news for Joshua, for Wilder too. Good show. We agree to this. What do you mean agree to disagree? You got to agree with the RDCR. You know, we only talk sense over here. We only ask the pertinent questions over here. We've asked some questions and we're still waiting. We've asked some questions recently and we're still waiting for the answers. You know, answers were promised, but no answers forthcoming. OMG, where did this Insiders go? Where the hell did this Sticks Insiders disappear to? Okay, much appreciation. Damn, the screen looks good like this, doesn't it? Hey, drop that shizzle down to the side. Yeah, I like that. Should do that more often. Should try to do that more often. Okay, so it's been Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. That's the name of the channel. I guess I should call this a boxing talk with Rafi. Maybe I'll figure out which number it is. I'll add that to the end of that. And yeah, we've done it. We've chopped it up again. What's the name of this one? Where's the banner? Where's the banner for that? This Shiznix. Oh, it's already up. It's already up there. It's UK number 1, 2, and 3 in the new Ring Magazine rankings. History has been made. We think it's the first time this has ever happened. UK being number 1, 2, and 3 in the heavyweight rankings. It's just one of them things. I hope my American friends and cousins can, heal up from this. Take some time, just relax, breathe easy. And no doubt we're going to be talking about this some more. We're going to give it some more. We're going to do it some more. UK running the show in the blue ribbon division. Boxing's back, ladies and gentlemen. And it's in very, very capable hands. And what else is there left for me to say? I don't think there's nothing left for me to say other than, hold on, I need to drop that or stop that. Where is that? What are we looking at? Other than, let me stop sharing that and stop sharing this. Where is it? That's not it. Let's do it properly. Let's take this thing. Let's see this thing out properly. Okay. So what can I say? It's the Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. It's the like. It's the subscribe. It's the comments. It's the shares. And it is the hitting that bell icon to stay updated with news and notifications. And don't forget about live shows. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. And what is it today? It's Tuesday. So look out for the Rick Glazer on Wednesday and Ask Rick. And in the meantime, all that's left for me to say is Blessed.